I'm Daecolm, singer-songwriter and producer from Southwest London. So I've written for some of the greats, as I'd like to call it, people from Chris Brown to LMA, Jaquise, Mario.
Fire. Yeah, you killed this shit, Brody.
And then on the UK side as well, AJ Tracy, MO as well. So my sound is pretty much based on R&B. Lover of R&B, always have been, always will be. And we branch off sometimes, we experiment in this and that, but yeah, R&B is where the heart's at.
Co-producing and writing 3 tracks on Chris Brown's Heartbreak on a Full Moon, Daecolm sets pace in the UK for not only his vocal talents, but his writing and production. We sat down with him to get an insight into his life as a producer, working with big artists, and seeing what he sees for himself in the future. When did music become a part of your life? Bold question.
I know. I would honestly say, like, I think I just enjoyed music in general, like just listening what was played in the house from mum and dad. But I took, like, if we're talking about professionally as like a career, I saw the light in like 14. I was like, when I hit 14, 15, I was like, ooh, this could be vibes.
Was it like a song in particular that you remember listening to and you're just like, ugh?
Well, the first song that I ever like tried to sing back to anyone was End of the Road by Boyz II Men.
Yeah.
So I was in my feels already back then. Like,
did you like pick one of the artists that you always sung his lines? Cause
it was for me. It was always Wanye. Wanye from Boyz II Men was like everything for me. The way he sang. So I'd say from them. But then when I hit like fast forward in time, now 14, and I'm like, oh, this could be like an actual thing. I can't even lie. It actually was Chris Brown.
Was it?
Run it.
How did you differentiate between those talents and what came first for you?
I'd say producing, because I was playing piano. Like, I started to play piano when I was about 10. My mom kind of taught me some basics. They tried to like take me to classes and all that shit, but I was bad with reading. I never read the notes. So I was learning shit, but I went for my grades, and then I played this piece like perfectly, but the examiner was like, oh no, you didn't pass. And I was like, why? I was like, you didn't look at the sheet music once. What? I was just like memorizing stuff. So that's what got me into producing, because I could play keys.
Yeah.
Producers putting their tags at the beginning of their songs. What's your stance on that? I mean, I think
Cool.
It's wicked. I feel it's the way forward.
I've already said I've got my own as a writer, which is again controversial, because it's like, well, why does a writer do it? It's just your stamp on a style.
And then do you have it built into the contract that they have to say it?
There's no real contract with it. It's just a vibe, like with the people that you're working with. Like, I work a lot with ADP, as you already know.
One, I believe in Daecolm as an artist and a writer and everything. Like, everything we do together, I love. He's like my go-to person for everything I do.
But I've also now started to embed my tag as a writer, which a few writers in the US also do too. So I don't feel like it doesn't have to like not be a thing or frown down upon, because now all of a sudden the writers do it. It's still.
So what is a tag when it comes to writing?
So you know, like the first example at the top of my head is Chris Sean, writer. He have you ever heard the tag Right Now Sound?
Yeah.
So this is a writer, and that's not a producer tag.
Oh, wow.
Works a lot with Ty Dolla, Chris. So that's a writer tag. Same with Eric Bellinger as well.
So will you have like a writer tag in a song, and also producer, the beat maker in a...
As for me, like me personally,
Like in general, like you can have that in a song. Like
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, run through it.
Like I would only use one. I would only use one tag. Like I
Okay.
wouldn't have a separate like producer tag
Yeah,
and a
yeah,
writer. It's
yeah,
just
in
my
the same
one
one,
tag. So
yeah.
whether I produce or produce and write or just write, it would still be that tag. And there's some situations where they don't want tags as a whole, and that's fine. Like it all
Yeah.
just depends on the artist and the moment and what the vibe is. But yeah, for me, it's also part and parcel of like getting my sound out and my style of writing, but also when I start releasing more stuff as an artist to be able to backtrack on and say, well, I did that, and I did that because it's in the beginning of the song as my tag. So the same way a producer would do it.
Because I do find it is quite difficult when it comes to. I feel like whenever I've looked into like producers and songwriters, with an artist, you go on Google and you can just see the information there. But I feel like in some cases, when I've looked into producers and songwriters, one website will say, you know, they've worked with like 5 artists. Another website, you've got like another 5. Another website, you've got another 10 more. And so you're just like, what? You don't know. And so I feel like
Mine
I've been
is all
able
fucked
to,
up.
yeah.
You won't be able to know properly, but that's
Unless
I
he
think-
spoke to you and he was just like, okay, this as well, that as well.
Because Wikipedia is edited, like you can edit Wikipedia as you want, and the information only kind of goes in bits and pieces. So whoever's editing, it's only once you get like I feel that global smash, and I'm still trying to achieve that. Yes, I've worked with big artists and stuff, but I'm still feeling like I'm reaching that. Like, okay, I have a billboard. Okay, I got a billboard on my wall. Like a song, like a individual song that like say like I can say I wrote freaking Rihanna her biggest hit ever. That's when they start doing your credits properly and people checking for you for real. So
Yeah, I get that. And then what about producers? We're seeing it a lot more, especially in the UK. I'm seeing it more, where producers are putting their names in like the artist part of the song. What's your thoughts on that? Is that something that you would look to do as well?
not so much as a producer, or like I wouldn't look to put my name in there on the credits, as in the title credits. So like featuring so and so. No, I'm gonna say only when I'm on the song, because as a producer and a writer, I don't need to. You know what I mean?
Because then it mixes and blends, and people don't know what they're gonna get.
Yeah.
But then it's like a Kinder Surprise. You have to listen to find out.
It could be, but that's what I'm saying. When we were going to the producer and writer thing, I gotta like me as a creative on the behind the scenes. I'm trying to juggle both and figure out my transition into the artist role properly. So I got to pick and choose my moments where I'm like, all right, cool. Well, you don't want my credit there. That's cool. I'm gonna put my tag there though. But then on the next thing, when I put my project, like I want you to do this, or if I'm working with like, I don't know, St. John, like I want to definitely have my name next to you somewhere because I heavily fuck with your music, and for me that would be worth more than having this fee or that fee or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's definitely like it's a game. It's like a chess game. Like this whole music shit's like a whole fucking chess game. Yeah.
Are you allowed to say who you're working with next?
Yeah. Like I've been working with Wes from here.
Yeah.
You know, Wes Nelson.
What was the arm raised? Is that a little thing that you do? Or like just
Probably not expecting me to say that name first, but hey,
Kehlani.
that's for the Kehlani.
We
Yes,
have
we
to
done
say that,
Kehlani.
yeah?
Yes, what with Kehlani, Chris Brown, St. John, still Chris. Who else? Tiesto, Chami.
And this is writing and producing.
Yeah, both.
Wow.
Yeah. Beanie Man as well.
Wait.
Cranium, Egyptian. Some of the
This is
those sides.
insane. And do you get to, I mean, obviously we're going through a pandemic, but do you get to like meet them as well and like sit down and work with them, or is
Over
it?
the last 6 months, no. Like for the last 6 months, the pandemic has been a bit restricting, but obviously we're following guidelines, you know, doing it the right way.
We are.
Yeah.
And I think also artists are a bit more sensitive to it too, because you know they're a high priority person and they don't. The last thing they want to do is get sick.
Well, yeah, not only that, but imagine like you've got Cranium up in your studio, and then you know one thing leads to another. You're pissed on Gordon's, and then your neighbours call the popo, and then Cranium's in the papers for getting lit, getting lit in London during a lockdown. Yeah, would it be good? Wes Nelson, we obviously know him for being on Love Island. And I feel like when people have been on reality TV as a whole, or like just TV in general, often people think that once you've done that, like that's it, you can't then do the crossover. Not that you can't do the crossover, but I feel like you're going to get judged a lot because all people know you as is just that person that was on TV. You know, Pat Butcher releases a song and you'd go, what? So when it came round to working with Wes, was you skeptical about it, or was you kind of keen to go down that path of just exploring?
With Wes, it's been an interesting one because it's not something that I'll just be honest, like look for straight away to say like I want to get into this, but it came with a bit more, I don't know, for me just like a bit more substance. Like I understand the backstory comes from a big following of Love Island and so on and so forth, but having heard what I've heard, now, okay, stick with me. So just compute this in the head. I'm gonna let you decide and the audience decide and all that shit. Having heard what I've heard, and you knowing who I've worked with, and I still want to work with him and work with him on the long term.
That means something.
You guys
because
can
you can look at yourself and think like, oh my God, like you've worked with some incredible, reputable artists, both in the US and in the UK. It would be quite easy for somebody to say,
yeah, like
what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. But without, and that's, which is bad because, you know, it takes away instantly from a talent that he may have that we might not know of. But I feel like because we often can be so quick to judge and prejudge, that's where that element comes into it. And it's almost, I think it's hard because it feels like, and I don't know whether this is the way that Wes might be feeling himself, but almost like he could have to try and prove himself.
I mean, he knows that he wants to get rid of the stigmatism for the sake of going into music. He's the guy you're going to ask all these questions, to be fair. But from what I know, like, moving into music is a different realm to the reality TV side. So he knows within that he wants to be eventually respected for what he's doing and the music that he's making. And from what I've heard of the songs that he's got, there's every chance, you know. I'm not even gassing. Like there's every chance that, you know, it could do well.
Like a nice cheeky little top 10.
Yeah, I mean, we were just like yesterday. We just went to Selfridges yesterday, and we bumped into like a couple of people. We bumped into this DJ, Capital DJ, Roman Kemp. Played him a couple of bits, and was like, yeah, like there's some vibes. And that's a good thing to have and to know from someone that's also reputable, you know. So I've got my cards bet on in favor for him. Really? You know.
What are you working on for yourself at the minute? Anything you can show me?
For me?
Yeah.
For me? Yeah. Oh shit! I never thought you asked. I've got a whole project coming out. I put out a project early this year. Did well, did good, still available. You know what I mean?
Spotify.
All them DSPs there. But no, I got this one song coming out called Hot Topic.
So there we have it. Daecolm has taken us on his musical journey from his achievements to who he respects and works with in the industry, giving us a true insight into the world of being a triple threat in vocals, production and songwriting, and has shown us what it takes to get to where he is. Follow UK Gossip TV on all socials to keep up to date with future conversations.